Hi, this is Daria from Neville Design, and I'll be showing you how to make a large rose, and it's this one right here. So that's how it looks like. Now I have two roses here as a comparison. This is the large rose, and it measures up to 22 inches approximately. And then next to it is a medium large rose, and it's about 18 inches wide, just so you see how big one is from the other. But right now I will be showing you how to make a large rose in this video. So before we get started, I wanted to go over the supplies that we need in order to make this rose. So you will need a pair of scissors, a pencil, a glue stick because we will be curling our petals with, or you could use a straw. You will need your two templates that you purchased from me. And then you will need large paper. So this paper is 11 by 17, which is perfect because it will fit with our petals, which we'll be tracing on. So let's move that away. This paper is digital, so I purchased this at Kelly's Paper. You could also get it from there. There's multiple different colors. I like this paper because it's nice and thick, which holds the rose very well together. And then lastly, you will also need a glue gun, which is most important. So let's get started. So you have two templates. We will be using the first one, which is labeled as 1. We will be tracing and cutting 4 of them. In total, we need 3 sets of 4 in order to create a center of the rose. So you could put the larger one and wider one aside. Take your template and your pencil. We're going to just trace that. You could cut 1 sheet at a time, possibly even 2 if you want to save a little bit of time, but I could just cut with 1. And then you just cut out the petal. Throw away the trash, and it should look something like that. Perfect. So as I mentioned earlier, you should cut out 3 sets of 4. So I have 4 sheets of paper using that same first template. And we're going to put that together. So have those aside for now. So grab your first one, add some glue right there on the box, and we want to create a box right in the center. This actually should fit pretty well. Just like that. Then grab your other two. We're going to add them right here. So add some more glue right in the middle there, just a kind of like a squiggle, or you could add dots, however you like. We're gonna create another box, so it should go all the way to the end, leaving some space in between. We're just doing the same thing to the last one. So it should look like this. Afterwards, you'd want to create a box, so we're going to fold all the petals back just to create that shape within. That way it kind of just folds a little better. Perfect. And then the first two that we glued, we're going to actually fold them first, so you should still have a little layer on top. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually fold it like a sandwich or like a hot dog. It's a little close up, it's a little large, so it's kind of hard to grab. So kind of like this. Then we're going to fold it into a cone. Just like this. Leaving a little hole right there in the middle. Grab a comfortable position there, so it should look like this. And we're going to add some glue on the edges. We want to do it on the other side. Kind of hold that for a second, make sure it's on there. So it should look like this. Perfect. And then for these two, we're just going to add some glue right there on the edges, and we're going to fold it together. Just a little strip is fine. Now we're going to kind of use our finger to put it a little over and leave a little bit of space right there. Make sure that's glued on there pretty nice. It should look just like this, so are pretty similar. Then we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Just leaving a little bit of space there. And it should look like this. Just like a little cone. Now you can put that aside and grab your other four that you cut using the first template, and we're going to create the same thing we just did. So add some glue and create your shape. Once you created that, just add some glue in the middle and add your cone right in the center. So the first ones that we glued, make sure they kind of face where we left off, where the edge is left off. So it would go right here. Because we're going to be folding that together to make it more round. So now we're going to add some glue on this side, the one where we ended off with the edges, and we're gonna wrap around it. leaving a little bit of space. You can see that it's forming more of a circle. We're gonna do the same thing on the opposite side. And just continue leaving a little gap there. So far it should look like this. Wonderful. Same thing. Look like this. This is already a second layer for the rose center of the large template. It's already looking like a rose. And now for the third set that I asked you to cut out in the beginning, we're actually going to curl these. So grab your glue stick or a thick straw or whatever you're using as your curling utensil. We're gonna grab our petal and we're just going to curl the edges. So use your fingers and just curl about that much. I'm just gonna do the same thing about this much. It should look like that. And we're gonna do the same thing to all 4 of our petals. So you should have 4 curl petals. So add some glue onto the little box shape, and we're gonna leave a little bit of space this time. We're not gonna actually cover the full box. We're gonna leave a little bit of spacing. So maybe like about this much. I don't know if you see it there, just like a little bit right here. We'll do the same thing with the other 2, leaving a little bit of space. You can see that the gappings are much larger than what we started off with. So that's how it should look. Then add some glue in the middle, and we're gonna place our rose center right in the middle. Make sure that's in the middle there. Perfect. So where we left off on our edges, that's what we're gonna cover up first. So instead of adding glue on the sides, we're actually gonna add glue right on the corners. Kind of going up to the middle, but just a bit. So from right here, we're actually going to kind of use our finger and our whole arm or hand to kind of just make that petal shape. Make sure that it stays on there well. So we have 1 down. It's going to look like this. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Kind of make that gap with your finger. And just get the sides. Perfect. Really making the self look beautiful. And then throughout, just leave a little more gapping. Try to just glue the sides, leaving a little bit of space in between. Should look like this. Since it's a much larger rose, I'm gonna have to work your whole arm and hand into it. Since the petals are much, much larger than our hands, we have to actually try our best to kind of fold it. Not too much, but just a good amount. So that's how it should look like using the first template, which is labeled as number 1. It should create the inner of the rose. Now for the outer part, we're actually going to use our second petal of the template. This is much wider, as you can see. So you could put that aside, and we're going to trace our second part. And just cut it out. Throw that away. And here you should have your petal for the second template. And for this one, you're going to cut out four sets of 4 using the second petal of the template. You should also curl all of them because we will be using the rest of the rose as curled. So to show you, there should be 4 petals. They're really, really big petals. Perfect. Now we're gonna just keep one. We're gonna put the rest aside. So for this one, we're actually going to cover the full box here. And then we're just going to create a full box again. Perfect. And we're going to do the same thing here. Perfect. And the same thing. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add some glue. And then we're going to put our total, the center that we have, we're going to put it right in the middle. Just like that. Now I wanted to add that it takes about 28 sheets of large paper to create this rose. So in total you will need 28 petals. You could also add more if you want it more volumey, more fuller at the bottom. You're more than welcome to add more, but I usually just add like 28. So we're doing the same thing, adding a little bit of glue on the edges there. We're just continuing to add volume to our rose. We can actually just put the sides together, leaving a little bit of gapping. Ooh, and that's glued. Just hold it a bit longer. And then we're just doing the same thing throughout on the opposite sides. It's kind of gluing there. So we got some glue. It really stays there. Look like this so far. And we're just doing the same thing on this side. So I'm going to just kind of use it from here. Just get the bottoms glued, leaving a little bit of a gapping. You could use your whole hand to glue it. You could do it from this way. You could use your body if you wanted to glue it, since the paper is much larger. It's whatever's comfortable for you. So you can see me actually trying different techniques to putting it together. Just glue one side from here, then holding the other. You could even try holding it from the back like this. So whatever's easier for you. Because you want to make that cusp shape. So if it's difficult for using one hand, you could just glue one side and then the other. You could just fold it together as like a cut from here. So there's multiple ways to kind of putting it together. You could try all of them to see what's easier for you. You don't have to do exactly how I'm gluing it together. Well, my hand gestures and arm gestures, but it's however you like it. So this is how it should look like right now. And you can see it's kind of losing its round form. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the next petals to actually cover the gappings throughout. If you've seen my video with the medium rose, that's exactly what we're doing. So we're gonna do the same thing to this one. All right. So you should grab the second 4 that you cut. Using the second large template. And instead of gluing this part together, we're actually going to add some glue on the box shape, and we're going to cover the gaps. So we're going to actually glue it like this. So the gappings that we have, we're going to actually put it under. So wherever it's pointy, it should be right on the box, if that makes sense. So take one petal, add some glue where we're going to put it under so we could cover the gap. So here's my gap right here, and the petal should go right under it. So this is how it should look like. You can see that the corner is on the box. So you should have 4 corners. All right. Then what we're going to do is we're going to add some glue on the edges. And we're going to glue them. So I like to just glue one side, just kind of just picking it up and just slamming it on the other petal. Just kind of mend it there. And then use your finger to create kind of like a cusp shape and just get the other side. Kind of just blend your little hand there, make sure it's on there. So that's how it should look so far. Yes, it looks a little weird, but I promise you it will take its form. I like to do this technique because the paper that we're using is very rectangular, so it's really hard to get that kind of petal shape to make it very wide because the paper is not wide. So what I did is I created petal by petal in order to make that shape. So it's kind of like my own little experiment that seemed to have worked, and I really love the outcome of the rose. So this is how it basically goes. It looks weird at first, but in the end it'll look beautiful. So we're doing the same thing. We're adding some glue on the box, and we're just covering the 4 gaps. Okay, so that's the next gap. We're just gonna put it right under. Me like this. Here's the gap, and it's like right in the middle of the petal. Just like that. And then we're gonna glue it. Kind of use your finger to make it a cusp shape. And then just get this side as quick as you can. Use your finger to leave a little bit of space, and then just grab your hand. Make sure it's glued on there well so it doesn't just flop out. Okay. So that's how it should look so far. It's very beautiful. Now we're going to do the same thing with our other 2. So here's our next 3rd gap. We're going to cover that up. And I can see that there's still more gappings throughout. We're still going to be covering them until it's completely rounded. So don't worry if your rose looks funny, because it's supposed to look funny. Here is our last gap. Just kind of make a cusp again. So what you do is you just add another layer of a petal here, and we do the same thing, just covering the gappings around. Just add some glue on the sides. I'm just picking it up. I'll just glue one side and then I'll add a cusp afterwards. Seems to be a little bit easier than using my whole hand. Grab your second petal, just do the same thing, just covering the whole box under the rose. Create that little dip, little gap. So you can see it's kind of becoming more round rather than just a bunch of gaps. And we're just putting that right under the gap here. On one side. And then your fourth gapping. See, that's slowly forming. You have the 1, 2, 3, and 4th petal across, covering all these 4 gappings. This is how it should look so far. You can see that there's a few little spaces left, and that's what the last set is for. And then we're just doing the same thing, adding some glue here and covering the gaps. Just enough to make it as even as you can. Should basically cover the whole box under the flower. And just flatten that out here. And use your whole hand too, just to make the glue stay. See right there? And then we're just going to do that throughout. Here's our next gap here. The gappings are pretty visible, so it's kind of hard to miss and lose a spot. So it's basically just 1, 2, 3, like in a perfect square. We have 2 more to cover the last 2 gaps here. our last one. Kind of glue the sides. You continue to glue the sides together. So this should be your large rose here. Now you could add more petals on the side if you'd like, just to cover the more gaps if you want more blooming around this side. So then instead of 28 petals, you'll need 32. But so far, this is just 32 petals. 28 petals and 28 sheets of paper to create this beauty. All right, thank you for watching.